minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, when you do the news, we do the news every morning, and when you look at the stories, and it's a murderer or somebody who has violated the law in a horrendous way, and they've got attorneys that represent them, the bad guys, you often wonder, gosh, what is that like for that person? Because you know the attorney is an upstanding person, but he's got to represent somebody who's horrible. And of course they can never say that in the court. And I'm guessing, just to be fair, now and then it's a false accusation. But you know, I mean, that kid in South Carolina, gosh, that's horrible.
Yes.
Steve E. Clark has written a book with an interesting title. By the way, it's a novel, but the title alone, it's the first few paragraphs of this book, gets you going. Steve Clark is an attorney, specializes in medical malpractice. He's a fellow of the American College of Trial Lawyers. He earned recognition in Best Lawyers in America and Super Lawyers. He coached the Amateur Softball Association's girls softball team. I wonder if that means he has a daughter. I'm just guessing. The book is called, again, Justice is for the Deserving. And if you're following the character Kristen Carey, this is a Kristen Carey novel of suspense. Steve Clark, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
Oklahoma City, and I'd like to correct one thing I just heard you say.
What did I say?
I know a lot of lawyers who are not upstanding, regardless of their client.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Well, you know, I presume to that.
I won't share.
But I guess the picture I'm trying to paint is the guy like yourself who is upstanding, I presume, and you have to represent somebody who you know is horrible, and yet you still have to do your job, right?
Right. That interesting dilemma came up in the first book of the Kristen Carey series. She discovered that her hospital client and nurses were lying in this case, and so she's a little neurotic, a little reckless, and she tells the court that her client's lying, and she loses her job and her career, and then she moves on in book 2.
Do you make your protagonist a female so that it's not so easy to ask the question, is this you?
No, I've actually fallen in love with my protagonist, and way, having trouble getting a new idea or making myself right, I can just get right into it and think, well, here's Kristen, okay? That's great. She's beautiful, she's athletic.
How long ago did you create Kristen?
I created Kristen about 20 years ago in a short story that I wrote to try and impress a girlfriend who worked for an ad agency, and it didn't work. She dumped me. But I kept the character and eventually turned it into 2 novels so far.
Oh my gosh! And she's become a real person for your readers. I'm sure she has for you also.
Oh, of course. I can't wait to marry her.
How long? How long has the title "Justice is for the Deserving" been rolling around in your head? That is an awesome title.
Well, thank you. It's a play off of the first title, Justice is for the Lonely. But it came up with the deserving in that there are a lot of people in this book who may or may not deserve justice or may not deserve to learn the truth. And you'll have to read the book to find out who is the one person who really deserves what they get.
Well, and the reason I like the deserving part is because if a bad guy deserves to be sentenced, then he's got justice. Justice has been served, and he deserves it. And if the good guy gets exonerated or whatever the word is, then he deserves it. And I just love it. I just love the way it works both ways.
Right. And some people in the book deserve exactly what they get.
This isn't a page turner. This is a paragraph turner. I mean, you've got something in almost every paragraph that makes you want to know what's going to be next. Was that a matter of fine tuning in the editing process, or is that the way you write?
Well, both. And I went to a seminar one time, and it said the way to keep people turning the page is to make them want to find out what happens next. And I've tried to do that, especially in this second book.
And it's visual. I don't know if anybody's told you that before. And every author, we speak to a lot of authors, and if you're not visual, it doesn't mean you're not good. But I prefer visual. Visual is kind of the way I like it. I like to be able to see what the words are saying.
Well, my favorite line in Deserving is after Kristen is arrested, she says, "One of the great advantages to being charged with a capital crime is you get your own cell."
That's very visual. I know we don't have much time. Can you give us like a movie trailer, I guess elevator pitch? What's the storyline in a real short form?
Kristen winds up representing 3 families who have lost children who died at the same hospital on the same day. And as she begins to work these cases, she realizes she may not be dealing with simply a mistake, but rather maybe a serial killer loose in this hospital.
It's
up to her to find out who it is and make sure that they get punished. And unfortunately, Kristen winds up being charged with murder.
And this kind of parallels your own work in medical malpractice, right?
Yeah, I have to say that it's pretty nasty litigation and makes for, I think, good fiction.
Oh, my gosh. Do you think this is probably the direction you're going? Do you think you'll hang up the attorney sign and just stick with the writing eventually?
I'd like to. Unfortunately, I've got 3 more children to put through college.
Yeah, but one book could do that.
I hope.
Yeah. I have a copy of the book. It's called Justice is for the Deserving. We don't have a whole lot of time to speak to Steve Clark, but I would like to give the book away before we run out of time. The rest of us will have to go buy it. So call me if you want the copy that was sent to us. It'd be a great read, and then you could give it away. You could re-gift it or something. In the back of the book, it looks like you're in Paris. Do you spend a lot of time over there?
You got to do a lot of research, to write novels. Yeah.
So that's the reason you go over there.
Well, the third book's set in Paris. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're setting yourself up for that. You're a good-looking guy. Well, you could be. Have you had any offers from movie makers to turn your novels into films?
Oh, not yet, but I think Jennifer Lawrence would be ideal to play Kristen.
Yeah, I think so too. And well, then she'd be stuck with that character though for forever.
Yeah, I suppose there's worse things that can happen.
Absolutely.
We'd have to put elevator shoes on her though, because Kristen played college basketball.
We often ask if the novel is representative at all of your work. Depending on who you are, in your case, it's an attorney. Does it ever go the other direction? Like, have you created something in the fictional world that then seemed to replicate itself in the real world for you? Has it gone the other direction?
Well, hopefully my experience as a writer makes me a better storyteller. And when you go to court, the side whose story is believed and accepted by a jury is the side that's going to win.
Yeah, I guess storytelling would be important. And so as an attorney, do you try to get the jury? Because in the book, you try to give us the perspective of Kristen. We're looking through her eyes. Is that how you approach a jury, to try to see the world through your client's eyes?
Exactly. And the other side, the defense side, wants the jury to see it through the doctor's eyes or the hospital staff.
Yeah.
What they were thinking and why this mistake occurred, even though it couldn't be prevented. And yes, exactly.
Oh, my gosh.
You ought to teach at a law seminar.
Yeah, I don't know how good I would do. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. And do you celebrate the holidays?
Oh, yeah. We got all 5 kids coming home, hopefully.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the air. Have a great holiday season and stay warm. I think Robin told me you're in Oklahoma City, right?
Right.
I think you told me that. Yeah.
Snow comes tomorrow.
The snow comes tomorrow? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right.
The blizzard that Chicago is getting today, we're getting tomorrow.
Looks like temperatures here are going to stay in the 80s all the way through New Year's. I don't know if I'm rubbing it in or not, but it looks pretty nice here.
Well, you really ruined my day. Thanks a
Steve, you're fun, and you got a dry sense of humor for sure. Thank you for being on the air with us. Justice is for the Deserving is the book. Do you want to give us a website?
Kristen Carey Novels of Suspense, and the book's available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble websites.
Very good. Kristen Carey, with 2 Ks, novels, plural, of suspense, correct? .com?
Right.
All right. Steve, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
'Tis the season to be giving.
And at WOCA The Source, we have teamed up with Florida Kids Helping Kids.
To make sure homeless children in Marion County have a great Christmas.
And you can help.
Yes, WOCA at the Paddock Mall is a drop-off site. Bring new or gently used dolls, skateboards, jewelry sets,
Footballs, basketballs, musical instruments.
and anything else a child would like.
Share your blessing.
Children will be able to choose a gift for another child.
And Florida Kids Helping Kids will wrap the gift.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us here at WOCA The Source.
When you go into Automax, Marion County's #1 pre-owned dealer for over 15 years, you won't take the new car depreciation because Automax saves you thousands on late model vehicles. Browse the inventory online at automaxocala.com. Then come down to see the great vehicles and upfront pricing in person. Compare up to 60 models inside the climate control showroom. So take your time. No high pressure, no gimmicks.